On the 20th of March 2019, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community UK held a vigil to honour the victims of the recent terrorist attack in Christchurch, New Zealand. The vigil began with a recitation of the Holy Quran, which was followed by a minute's silence in honour of the victims of the Christchurch terrorist attack. Various members of the wider local community took the opportunity to express their sadness and to condemn the actions of the extremist acts of terror. Guest speakers included the Imam of the Baitul Mosque, Maulana Atal Majib Rashid.
I feel as a religious person that if the people all over the world belonging to various religions, belonging to various countries, they are all trained to understand the dignity of humanity. Every single soul is created by God. It has got its sanctity. It must be preserved.
Mr. Paul Scully, Member of Parliament.
And I always say that you should never, as Muslims, have to justify your faith, but it's incumbent on all of us, from all faiths and none, to make sure that we, in the face of such adversity, express the clear view that Islam truly is a religion of peace. It's a religion of support, community that brings people together. It does not divide people.
Councillor Stephen Allen Brutus, the leader of Merton Council.
What happened in New Zealand in Christchurch was a terrorist attack on peace-loving people, and we must do everything we can to get together to express our abomination and our opposition to such acts.
The Catholic representative, Canon Michael Scanlon, the parish priest of the St. Teresa of the Child Jesus Church.
It's a sad time when people can go to worship and they're mowed down in such a vicious, horrible and disgraceful way. No faith community should have that kind of thing happening. So we pray for those who lost their life.
Mr. Zac Goldsmith, Member of Parliament.
The whole world was sickened but also profoundly shocked by events in New Zealand. And those atrocities will go down as one of the worst acts of terrorism the modern world has seen on every level. And there is no doubt that communities, not least this community, will have the anxieties that they already felt exacerbated by what has happened in New Zealand.
Mr. Stuart McDonald, from the Board of Deputies for British Jews.
The tragedy of what happened, its shocking nature, should not blind us to the fact that at a secular level, an attack on one is an attack on every single one of us. And if we're going to draw something positive from this, it should be a transcendent sense of our own humanity, our shared humanity, and also the fact that the best way to deal with this evil is to stand up to it together. And very much in keeping with your traditions, it is not to meet violence with violence, but to meet it with dignity and determination.
And the Right Honourable Brandon Lewis, Chairman of the British Conservative Party.
The best way to respond to this is to not allow what we have seen in the actions both in Christchurch and sadly elsewhere, as well as here in the UK, to deter us from being clear about our protection and our belief in that freedom of religious practice and religious belief.
The community response to the attack was read out by the National President of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community UK, Mr. Rafiq Ahmed Hayat.
It is with great regret and sadness that 50 people were killed and at least 20 wounded in the shooting at two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand last week. We are quite simply horrified and devastated by this attack. New Zealand is a peaceful and tolerant country, and if this can happen there, it shows that no part of the world is safe from the extremism or terrorism. We offer our deepest sympathies and prayers for all those affected by this tragedy. And sadly, we have seen some attacks on UK mosques this week as well, and this is deeply distressing. We pray for all those affected and hope that this hate comes to an end.
The vigil was ended with a silent prayer. This report is brought to you by MT International, UK Studios in London.